everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I'm a mom of 3 kids, ages 10 now, 3 years old and almost 1. And I am sharing today about our homeschool reflections for this last year, which was the 2023-2024 school year. And this video is part of a collaboration with Davine from Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. So you will want to check out the playlist linked below in the description box for all the rest of the videos from other moms reflecting on how their school year went this last year as well. So if that is interesting to you, go ahead and stick around. I would love it if you would subscribe and say hello if it's your first time here. If you came from one of the other channels, welcome, and I hope you'll stick around. Now today I have some notes because I didn't want to forget anything or leave anything out. So I might be looking down for a moment from time to time. So the first thing that I did when I was thinking about how this school year went was I talked to my husband and I talked to my daughter, who was the one doing school, and then I spent some time thinking about what my thoughts were. And I thought it was interesting to have all of those conversations. And the first thing that I wanted to share were my husband's thoughts. This is kind of his summary of how our school year went. So, toddlers and infants are hard. And it's hard to homeschool older kids when there are little kids that need attention constantly all day long. So, just part of my reflection about that is that this coming year would like to do a little bit more organized activities for my 3-year-old especially, but also to have some sensory type of things available for my little girl who is turning 1 here pretty soon, so she'll be awfully busy next year, I'm sure. But those are just some things that I had thought about with regard to the little kids to just make it easier on my older daughter so that we can get our read-alouds done and history readings and science and things like that. So I just am trying to kind of figure out how to fit that in or work that for next year. But it was a really good observation on my husband's part to just kind of let me know what I probably complained about the most this last school year. One recommendation that I do have, especially for toddlers and little kids, if you have a fenced backyard where you can see it from wherever you homeschool, is to let them be outside as much as possible. And my son loves to be outside. He loves to pretend to lawn mow and weed whack, and he jumps on the trampoline and he just plays in the dirt and things like that. So on days that aren't too wet, he still goes outside for at least a little bit every day. And on nice days, obviously, he practically lives out there. So that can be really helpful. Then I asked my daughter what she thought about how this homeschool year went as far as our curriculum and the things that we did, everything like that. And her reflection was that everything went fine except for Bible time. That seemed to be kind of a point of contention for us, which doesn't surprise me really. But our best time to do Bible is first thing in the morning before all the other subjects start happening. And we don't really consider that a school subject. It's just something that we do every day because we do that throughout the year, whether we're doing homeschool or not. But yeah, so her reflection was that we do it first thing and then move on. And since we talked about that, I have noticed that part of the reason why it seems to get derailed, if you will, is because of negative comments that get made about whatever we're doing. So I'll say something about getting our hymn ready on my phone to listen to on Happy Hymnody, and there'll be some sort of negative attitude or comment about that. Or I'll say that I'm going to get out the laying down the rails habit book and there's an eye roll or something about that. We're just kind of in that season of having a little bit more attitude, and we're working on it. So those are just some of the things that we are going to probably try to fix a little bit over the summer so that we can head into our next school year with, you know, a little bit better of a beginning of the day. So some of my reflections just in general about how school went this year. Like I said, we are going to be trying some new routines. Part of what I'm trying to figure out is I have been trying to implement morning routines and midday routines so that I'm not doing all of the cleaning at one time during the day. And so I have different things that I do. In the morning, I get a load of laundry going, I vacuum, if I didn't do it right before we all went to bed the night before. And just some basic cleaning tasks, wiping the counters, getting the dishes put in the dishwasher, things like that. And I really have been trying to figure out if multitasking during school really works for us. I don't like to sit right there the whole time when my daughter's doing her schoolwork, because she honestly talks to me a lot when she should be focused on what she's doing. And so I just try to kind of step away and do my own thing while she's doing her independent work. And that seems to work okay, except for then she has questions and she stops, and it's just a little bit, what's the right word? Disjointed, I guess. So I'm trying to kind of figure out and play with it a little bit this summer when we are doing a lot less school, to see kind of what might work better for us. So that will be something that we work on for sure. Like I already said, I want to try to have more activities available for the little kids, mostly just some book baskets. They both love to look at books and pretend to read and things like that. They love looking at the pictures. Obviously, I would want to do story time with them at some point in the morning. And then also having some sensory bins available. I don't really have anything currently except for kinetic sand, and my son was just not quite ready for that yet. So I think I would like to maybe do like the Play-Doh route, and I have Play-Doh toys. I just need to actually make some decent Play-Doh. So I would like to get some sensory bins going. Another thing that we started doing this year that I really liked and my daughter did really well with was narration. So I had been using some of the books recommended on the Ambleside online curriculum book list, I guess, for year 4. My daughter was in 4th grade. And so basically I would take whatever book it was, have her read maybe a chapter a day, and then she would come and narrate that book to me, whether it was a fiction book or historical fiction, things like that. And she did really well with being able to kind of learn how to narrate. It started out slow at the beginning, where she might just tell me like a couple of sentences, but as she got more practiced at that skill, she was able to retell the stories really well and give lots of details and things like that. And we're going to be continuing on with that as our main form of language arts next year, with having copy work, dictation, oral and written narration, and things like that. So I thought that went really well. So now I'm going to move on to kind of the subjects that we did and kind of how they went. So I already did a curriculum hits and misses video a week and a half ago or so, but based on kind of how all of those went, I'm just going to give a brief little summary of each subject. So math, we are using Math UC, and this last year in 4th grade, my daughter did the Delta level, which is division mostly, and that went actually really well. We did have to slow down a bit in the spring, which seems to be a recurring theme that I have noticed over the last few years. So my plan going into next year, she's going to be working on Math UC Epsilon, is to kind of do those preliminary lessons, like the first half or so, on kind of a steady 1 lesson per week basis. But then once it starts to get harder, to really kind of slow down. And I kind of was pushing her along a little bit faster than I probably should have kind of towards the middle of the year. So that's something that I want to make sure that I don't do going forward, is to just take that middle part where it starts to really get more challenging a little slower. With regard to language arts, we were using a couple different things. So I bought the Sunlight D readers off of eBay last year, and it came with the language arts teacher's manual and student sheets for the whole language arts program from Sunlight. And so I decided, since that came with it, that we would go ahead and try it. And it actually has a very Charlotte Mason style flair to it, where it has, what do they call it? Studied dictation, I want to say. Basically, there's a passage that the student reads through, marks with capitals and punctuation and highlights words that they might have a hard time with when it comes to doing dictation from that passage. And so we did that on Mondays, where she would study the dictation passage. She'd kind of read through it. And then later on in the week, we would actually write the dictation passage out. And then there were other grammar parts and things like that. And I liked it really well. She was just kind of like, it's okay. But we wound up kind of putting that aside around week 26, I think, was the last week that we did that. I didn't really feel like we were missing anything necessarily by not doing it anymore, especially since we were really trying to practice those narration skills. I wanted her to really focus on that, because that is what written narration is coming from for next year. So I figured we'd probably be okay. We also used Christian Light Education's Reading 4, which we absolutely loved. My daughter loved all of the stories. She loved the light units. She really likes workbooks, so that program was a really good fit for her. And I am still considering adding it in for next year, even though I have not technically put that in our curriculum lineup for next year. But if I find a good deal on it, I might pick it up at our used curriculum exchange here in a couple weeks at our homeschool convention, which, by the way, I'm going to the Oregon, what do they call it? Oregon Christian Home Educators Association Conference. It's in Albany, Oregon. And so if you are a local person here and you see me there, please say hi. I would love to meet you. And I actually have a friend that I met because of her YouTube channel, and we have gone to the homeschool conference together. She won't be there this year, sad Christina. But anyway, that is fun to get to know you guys in real life. So if you're around, let me know. But anyway, back to language arts. We used that Christian Light Reading 4, and we really loved it. And I am considering adding it in for next year, like I said, because of how great the stories are. I just was reluctant because she has so much reading already. She has Sunlight, History, Bible, Literature. She's going to be doing the readers for level E. There are a couple of Ambleside online recommendation books for year 5 or year 4 that we're going to be doing. And so there are those books, plus all the books that she already loves to read that I don't want to take the joy of reading away from her, especially because she loves it so much. I don't want to make it this big chore. So that's kind of why we didn't continue on with reading 5 from Christian Light Education. And let's see, after we finished Christian Light Education in week 20, I think it was, that we kind of wrapped that up because it's only a semester-long program. We picked up IEW's Fix-It Grammar level 1, which is nose tree. And my daughter really liked that. We got about 10 weeks in for the year. And then I plan at this point to continue on with that next fall. And she really liked that, the whole 1 sentence per day, correct the mistakes, rewrite the sentence, all of that. She really liked doing that. I felt like it moved a little bit fast for her, kind of being new to editing, but she did pretty well. We just needed to go through it a little bit more together than I had originally thought. I thought it was a little bit more independent for her, but I think she needed a little bit more help with it than I was doing. So next year I'll probably be assisting a little bit more with Fix-It Grammar. For history, this last year, we had started the year with our Star Spangled Story from Knotgrass History. And I really, really wanted to love it, you guys. I had been seeing that curriculum for so many years on different homeschool mom YouTube channels, and everybody loves it, and I really wanted to love it. And I got it because I didn't think that, sorry, there's a lot of traffic going by because graduation is happening in the field that is behind us today, and so I'm a little bit distracted, sorry. But I really wanted to love Knotgrass, and I had purchased it because I had a baby last summer, and I just figured that doing Sunlight Level D, History Bible Literature Level D, was going to be way too much reading to my daughter, and I just figured that we wouldn't be able to do it. And so we got Knotgrass because that is a lot more at her reading level. It's for 1st to 4th grade. I personally think it was maybe geared a little bit younger than that, maybe more like kindergarten to 3rd grade. So she was a little bit bored by it. It's written in a nice kind of story format still, in kind of a living book way, but I don't know, we just didn't love it. And we even had all of the read alouds, and we never read any of them. I don't know. If I could go back and do it again, I would just do everything exactly as they have it and not deviate from the plan, and then we probably would have liked it better. But I was just, I don't know. I had a newborn, so it is what it is. But in November, December, my daughter had asked if we could not do that anymore, so we kind of took a break from it over the holidays. And then I had been talking with a good friend of mine, and she had Bookshark's condensed 1 year level DE. So basically what I did is I got all of her books and curriculum, which, if you're not sure about Bookshark, it is kind of a sister company to Sunlight, but it's the, it doesn't have all of the Bible reading. It doesn't have any of the Christian Heroes Then and Now books. It's basically just Reading with History, which is the name of it, Reading with History. So I had kind of looked through the whole curriculum and picked out where level D ended and where level E started. And so basically I just started in January doing all of the level D section only. And the reason for that was that I knew that I still wanted to use level E for the following year, for next school year. And so I thought that that would work pretty well, and it seems to have worked really well. We went through the whole first book of Landmark History. We have just a couple chapters left of that for this summer. We've done the read alouds that went along with the level D section, which is not very many. There's just a few, but we really liked those. So that was something that we did change kind of mid-year, but we wound up really enjoying history after that. And the last kind of main area that we did was science, and we used 2 different Good and the Beautiful unit studies. The first one was Kingdoms and Classification, and we really liked that one. I kind of talked all through that in my curriculum hits and misses video. And then We also used marine biology, which my daughter has been wanting to do for the longest time. So we got the new version. We used the new version of both of those programs. And then now we finished the year doing the Health, Safety, and Manners book from Abeka, and that's a 3rd grade level. I actually just picked up the 4th grade level at a curriculum exchange, or a curriculum kind of used curriculum sale that I went to this last week, which I will be sharing a haul about in a couple days. So look forward to that. But or actually maybe this video will be posted after that one. Anyway, be looking for a haul video if you're interested in what I got at the used curriculum sale. But we really liked all of the science units that we used, and the health unit that we used is working really well. Other than that, when it comes to kind of the more Charlotte Mason aspect of our homeschool that I really want to do, because I think it's important to kind of spread that feast of the arts especially, I'm just not super great at doing it. So I do plan to kind of change the way we're doing that for this coming school year. So instead of doing kind of a loop schedule with that, we are going to do what I will call Friday subjects. And so on Fridays, we'll do a lot lighter of history and science and all of that. And instead, we will do art for 6 weeks, so our artist study. And then we will do, for the next 6 weeks of the term, we will do composer study. And then we will also work on a hymn, which we use Happy Hymnody, which is a YouTube channel where you can listen to all of the hymns. And then if you go to her website, there are printables that you can use. You can also buy her full printable pack on Etsy, I believe. We don't do that. We just kind of do the basic, print out the song, and maybe she often has like a kind of a fancy word coloring page for kids. And so sometimes I'll print that out. But so we're going to do hymns, and then I also got the poetry anthology that we're going to still do. That went pretty well this last year. My daughter kind of ended the year reading those poems on her own instead of me reading them to her. Same with the nature reader. She kind of had to take on a little bit more of the reading herself and then narrating to me because of having the toddler and the baby. So so that all went pretty well. I just know that we can do better. So I think that is it for my reflections on this last school year. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to hear more about that I haven't already done a video on, please let me know, and I am more than happy to discuss that further. And if you have stuck around this long, then please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and because clearly you are my people, and like this video so that it gets out to more people. I hope you guys are all having a great beginning of the summer. Let me know if you are finished with school this year yet, and how that all went at the end of the year. And don't forget that this video is part of a collaboration, and the playlist will be linked down below in the description box. So head on over to Davine and Shauna's channels to see their end of year reflections, as well as all of the other moms that are sharing in this collaboration today. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and we will see you next time.